while since you've seen my face, even though I know that's not true. It feels strange to sit in front of the camera and film. So I'm going to ask you to please, if you enjoy my content, please like this video and comment down below. Subscribe if you're not already to help other people find our little community that we have here. I've been pretty discouraged with the way things are going lately, even though I know it's my own fault for not putting out as much content as I used to. So, we have a missing persons case today. It is one that I hope to see solved someday, and one that is kind of discouraging when I get into the facts. So let me tell you about Ali. This case really grabbed my heart. She seems so similar to myself. Alright. Alexandria Joy Lowitzer, or Lowitzer, depending on which interview you listen to, was born February 3rd, 1994. Her parents are John and Joanne, and she had an older brother named Mason. The two of them were pretty close, but they understandably had some normal sibling rivalry going on. The family of four lived in Spring, Texas. Spring is a city located just north of Houston. I've been to Texas. I love Texas. It's gorgeous there, but your traffic is crazy, y'all. Oh, sorry, I totally hit the wrong button and scrolled all the way down my notes. My bad. I didn't mean it. I'm not together. I don't do this anymore. Okay, there we go. Sorry. The town of Spring, Texas, when Ali went missing, had about 50,000 residents or so. It is described as a good area to raise a family, predominantly middle class. There are several areas to shop and restaurants, including the local burger barn where Ali had recently gotten a job, and it is a main focus point in this case. Now, Ali lived with her mom and her brother. Her parents had recently separated in 2008, so 2 years, I guess, but Ali was kind of upset with her dad, but John still made it a point to be extremely active in his daughter's life. According to Joanne, Ali was excited when she turned 16 because she could finally get a job and start earning her own money. So, shortly after her 16th birthday in February, she started working at the restaurant called the Burger Barn. This restaurant was just a half a mile from her home, but it was on a main road, so there were no sidewalks between her house and the Burger Barn. So Ali's grandmother or a different family member would always drive her there or pick her up. Ali was described as a great student. She was involved in a lot of different things. She loved sports. She was the catcher on her softball team, and she just loved it. She was super excited to get her braces off in a couple of weeks and to take driver's ed the coming summer. She had been offered by a teacher to take an art class at a college in another state that summer as well. She was a Girl Scout. She enjoyed singing in the school choir and playing the flute. She was also really social. She had a lot of friends, and she was a very active texter on her phone. She sent over 3,000 text messages a month, and this was, way back in 2010 where you were still like, hey, call me after 9 because she much preferred to have people come to her house. She wasn't one for sleepovers or things like that, and if she could hang out, she wanted to hang out at her house. So that brings us to April 26th of 2010. Ali had gone to school that day, and while she wasn't scheduled to work that evening, she really wanted to go to the burger barn and pick up her paycheck and see maybe if they would allow her to pick up an extra shift that evening so she could get some more money. While she was still at school, she called her mom around 2:30 that afternoon, and she really wanted to go pick up her paycheck, and her mom reminded her, "Hey, Grandma has something to do. I'll take you tomorrow. I really don't want you walking down that main road. It's very dangerous, etc., etc." But Ali was really, really persistent, and she really wanted to go get her paycheck. So she was begging her mom to allow her to do this. And Joanne did relent after making Ali promise that she would be extremely careful walking that road. They ended this conversation with Joanne asking Ali to please let her know if she did indeed pick up an extra shift so that Joanne could pick her up. And Ali promised her that she would. So when Joanne gets home that evening at 5:30, she's kind of surprised to find that neither Ali or her brother Mason were at home. She hadn't heard back from Ali about whether or not she was going to be working and needed a ride, or that she was at home because she couldn't pick up the shift. Mason at the time was 18, and he wasn't at home either, so Joanne reached out to Mason, but he said he hadn't seen Ali and he was leaving the house right as her bus was coming down the street to drop her off. Apparently her bus stop was about 3 houses down from her house. So Joanne just kind of says to herself, maybe she was able to pick up a shift and she'd just been too busy to call or text. So she calls her to see if she'll answer, but she doesn't. So again, she figures her daughter is just busy on her shift and can't pick up the phone. So at the normal time, around 9 p.m., Joanne gets in her car and goes to pick up Ali at the burger barn. But her heart kind of sinks when she approaches the restaurant and it is already completely closed for the evening. Locked up, lights out, chairs flipped over onto the tables. No one in sight. Generally, the restaurant was still closing or in the process of finishing up. But that night, they had been able to get out a few minutes early. And you take that. So Joanne's looking around for Ali and she sees nothing. So she drives the route back home to see if Ali had been walking and she had somehow just missed her. But there was no sign of her daughter. When she gets home, Joanne quickly realizes Ali isn't there either, and this is when panic fully sets in, especially because Joanne cannot get Ali on her cell phone either. So she starts to contact Ali's friends, but no one had seen her. Someone mentioned a boy that Ali had started to talk to at school named DJ, and said that he had also been looking for her all night. She immediately gets in her car and she waiting for Ali to come home. At 5 a.m., Joanne can't wait any longer. She calls John and tells him there's still no sign of their daughter. At 9 a.m., she calls the police to inform them Ali is still missing. They're convinced that she's a runaway, despite the fact that she's never run away before, and her family insists that this is out of character for her. Plus, she didn't take any of her money from the burger barn, her phone charger, or any of her personal belongings. Nothing that her family could account for. So the Lowitzer family just launches their own investigation. Bless them. I can't with law enforcement in this case. They speak to more of Allie's friends. They talk to people at school. Some people said they saw her leaving school and going across the street to the Burger King. Not the Burger Barn, but the Burger King. This isn't what Allie had told her mom, so John actually went to the school bus garage to see if they had video on the buses, and they did. There is video surveillance of Allie getting on the bus at 2:25 and off the bus at 2:57, so this was ruled out. So John goes to the burger barn where she worked to talk to the manager, and the manager on duty that night, the previous night, said Allie never showed up to get her paycheck. She never made it there at all. So she disappeared somewhere between 3 blocks from her house and a half mile to the burger barn. That's a really small window, to me anyway. So John is immediately thinking, what could have happened to my daughter? And he knows that there's this young man named Chase who works at the burger barn who really wanted to go out with Allie. He had been trying to get Allie to go out with him. John didn't like this because Allie's only 16 and he's very protective. He had gone to the burger barn and told Chase that he was too old to date his daughter and that she wasn't allowed to date. Nothing really came of him bringing Chase into this case, but it was mostly forgotten about, but I felt like I should mention it. The burger barn itself doesn't have security cameras, but the gas station across the street did. So John went over there and asked them if he could view their footage, and they agreed. And they watched the surveillance of the entire afternoon and into the evening, but Allie was never spotted on these cameras. They gave John a copy of this footage to give to the police department, hoping that they would be able to review it and maybe use different technology to pick up the cars coming and going, like license plates, even maybe see into the vehicles. But the police lost this disc of footage, and it has not been found as far as I could tell, even to this day. Now Joanne is on the other end conducting her own investigation. She knew Allie's phone had a GPS locator in it. Now remember, it's not like today where we have Live 360 and we can look it up immediately, and she, didn't have access to those things. She contacted the phone company to see if they would give her any information, and they learned that the phone stopped pinging at around 3 p.m. in the area where she had gotten off the bus. So this is just a couple of minutes after she got off the bus. So on the bus footage, there were 2 boys that got off the bus at the same time as Allie. They found these 2 boys and they told John that, yes, Allie had gotten off the bus with them. She was on her phone texting and she was kind of lagging behind them, and they really just didn't pay any attention to her. They did think that she turned toward the burger barn instead of toward her house, but they didn't see anything else. Another dead end. So Joanne found out that Allie's last text messages around 3 p.m. were to a boy named Jay. She had asked him if he wanted to come over to her house to hang out, but he replied that he couldn't. He was busy that searched the house. They really took a long, hard look at Ali, I smushed them together, her older brother Mason. Mason had said he had heard the bus coming on the day that Ali disappeared, but he left the house and he never actually saw his sister get off the bus. Mason and John both took polygraph tests, but they were both not deceptive to the questions they were asked. Detectives later said John had been cleared of any involvement in connection with his daughter's case. Even though Mason passed the polygraph as well, police did not officially clear him from suspicion. Authorities have said Mason has further refused to talk to them about his sister's case, but he has always maintained he has nothing to do with her vanishing, and truthfully, I would be surprised if he did. Joanne remembers how furious she was that they were investigating them, wasting their time and resources when they needed to be out looking for her daughter. But she knows that it is just kind of part of the rigmarole that they have to go through, but I cannot imagine sitting there having to deal with that. You know something is wrong, and you know that your child is in danger potentially, and the police, oh gosh, the police, who are the people who are supposed to help you, won't. I can't. So a ton of tips would come in at first, including a tip from a pizza delivery guy saying he had seen a young woman matching Allie's description speaking with someone in a white truck. However, the location where he said he saw this was about a half a mile north of anywhere that Allie should have been or would have been. And despite further investigation into this, it didn't lead authorities anywhere. So at this point, Allie's case would go cold. In 2012, the family would hire their first private investigator, and you might be wondering why it took them so long. I'm going to talk about that, my theories on that at the end. So, this person took another look at this possible witness sighting and wondered if a man named Brandon Laverne may have been responsible. Now, if you don't know who this is, he was convicted of killing 2 young women in 1999 and in 2012. And it is thought that there were, of course, other victims. He had driven a white truck, and he had a sister that lived in the Spring, Texas area. Authorities ruled him out as a suspect, though. Of course they did. Another tip was uncovered years after Allie's disappearance. A couple of her friends came forward, allegedly, with some information. They said that they didn't speak up before because they didn't want her to get in trouble. Okay, but why did you wait years? Years. According to these friends, Allie had begun talking to an older man who lived near or in Las Vegas. She wasn't using her own phone. She would use her friends and other ways to talk to this person. And when she first vanished, her friends believed that this is what had happened. She'd run off to meet this man. In fact, they said that Allie had come out and said that this was the plan. They were going to run off together and live in Vegas or Florida. So they thought they were being good friends and keeping her secret. No, don't do this. It also came to light to the family that this first PI that they had hired had lied to them about a lot of things, and he was let go from his duties. The family hired another PI that you may be familiar with in this case, a woman named Amber Kamek. Amber was an activist in the Houston area for missing persons and human trafficking cases. Now, I'm sure, like myself, many of you are familiar with the TV show Disappeared. is completely crazy. Why would they wait a month? Why? So, what are the theories in Ali Lowitzer's case? Number one, yeah, maybe she ran away. Police still have her classified as a runaway, but she literally didn't take anything with her. No clothes, no identification, no phone charger, personal belongings. It's also been over 10 years. No activity on her social security number. No one has seen or heard from her, and her mother literally paid for her cell phone, like for years and years and years, like 10 years I think, $60 a month, like $9,000 to keep Allie's cell phone on so she could call if she needed to. You mean to tell me in all this time, if she had just run away to be with this Vegas guy, that she wouldn't have called her mom at some point? I don't think so. Number two, which is the one that I kind of go with, Allie was abducted by a stranger. There is a stretch of road that leads to the burger barn that is underdeveloped. Trees on both sides. Did somebody come across her there and saw an opportunity to take her? Maybe it wasn't a stranger, forgive my wording. Maybe they knew her and told her they'd give her a ride and something happened. If they took her, you know, goodness knows where she could be at that point. Number three, someone was waiting for her, possibly this older man that she was talking to, and she wasn't aware, or the guy from the burger barn. John also suspected the friend that she had texted when she was getting off the bus. John said he'd gone to Jay's house to speak with him, and both Jay and his father were uncooperative, and even angry with him for coming over. We know Allie texted him, but I mean, the reason we know the context of the text is from Jay himself. Maybe he deleted things we couldn't. Other theories have pointed to Mason, but I'm really not gonna go with that. I don't think her brother had anything to do with this. Number four, human trafficking. Now, this kind of goes alongside number two. Central Texas. The location on the I-35 corridor also gives perpetrators easy access to both Dallas and Houston, which are rated 2 of the top estimated trafficking cities in the state. We've talked about this on my channel before, so maybe it's another possibility. I hate to think that that is what happened. I can't stand thoughts of that happening to anyone, but I think it is quite a possibility. So what do you think happened to Allie? Allie's family continues to search for her. They have an amazing Facebook page and a website. Joanne is very active in the missing persons community and has even started a support group for mothers of missing children. If you or anyone you know has information on Allie, you're urged to call the Harris County Sheriff's Department at 1-713-221-6000 or the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children at 1-800-THE-LOST. That's 1-800-843-5678. You can also check the description box for those phone numbers. I always find that seeing it written down is a lot easier than listening to me say it fast, because I talk fast. Alright, so I said I was going to talk about the PI and why I think it took the family a while to hire them. In my area, there is currently a missing man. Same thing seen on CCTV footage. He just went missing, just went poof, just like Allie. And I am following this case, of course, he's just redoing what they have already done. The Lowitzer family did a lot in this case where law enforcement failed them as far as physical searches and, you know, getting the phone records and all that stuff. And this guy's family is doing the same. So maybe it had taken them 2 years to save up the retainer, or maybe it had taken them 2 years to find a PI that agreed to take on the case, even though he seemed extremely shady and lied to them and got himself fired. However, then the second one that they hired was also extremely shady, and, you know, getting on TV about this case is great. Yes, get as much information out there as you can, all the details, everything that you can. People watch more TV than they do YouTube or reading articles, I think. However, to set up a sting, fake or otherwise, and then not execute it for a month, to me, really seems like a publicity stunt. And to drag her parents up there, I can't. People are so crappy sometimes. So, we are seeing cases solved years and years afterward. I mean, if you hadn't heard, they found Maddie Scott the other day. I would love to see more information released on that case. I covered it a long time ago, it feels like. But I need to know more details. How far was she found from where she went missing, etc., etc. So, there is still hope that we could see many of these cases on my channel solved, you know, soon. Maybe, I don't know. It is still extremely discouraging to me that people can literally just go poof in this day and age of cell phones, CCTV footage, and everything like that. It's just completely bizarre to me, even having had it happen with my own mother, only for a couple of, 14 hours. I can't imagine going years and years with that feeling. There's no way that I wouldn't have gone completely bonkers and lost all of my marbles. So for Joanne to be this advocate, I mean, bless her. Good for her, because she is a strong woman. So again, if you know anything, I encourage you to contact the phone numbers down below. Sometimes it only takes one person saying something that they might think they know in order to solve a case like this. Thank you again so much for being here. If you're still listening, please leave a comment and a like on this video so more people can discover my channel. I'll see you soon, or I'll see you on Patreon. I don't know. I don't think my patrons